Hi guys, I'm Nate from Good Mayhem Racing. This is the 4Runner that we raced the Baja 1000 in, and today I want to talk to you about our group buy, the Underlight update. If you look at my truck right here, you're going to see caution lights flashing right here. They're actually the turn signals of the truck, the hazards, and what I have done with a group buy for our third generation 4Runner groups is make a new Underlight kit that installs right underneath the headlight and provides you some useful features for your truck. When it comes to aftermarket bumpers, you usually don't get turn signals with that, and this is a way to relocate your turn signals, have them be a little more modern with LEDs, and on top of that, look cool. So the group buy was originally $50, and that was for amber lights that are hardwired, and you just get the body, the LEDs, and the wires that are coming out of them. That's it. For the people that are willing to do that, they are cool, they are amazing, and those kinds of folks have already started receiving packages. This is what the package is going to look like with the group buy. It's around 16 inches long, maybe a little less than 6 inches wide, weighs less than a pound, shipped straight to your door. So look out for these in the mail when time comes. In the meantime, if you have not been talking to me already, we need to have a conversation because of everyone's feedback. This group buy, at least within the cost that I've been able to maintain, has grown a little bit larger compared to the original scope. What is it? Let me show you. Okay. So, again, brief recap, amber LEDs that are hardwired was the original scope. Whenever you plug in these to run on your truck, they are simple, they are effective, they're a good brightness, they're not overly bright. And if you look over here at 12.6 volts, they are only consuming 0.2 amps. They look really pretty. Kind of curious how they look like on camera. Lovely, they look great. They have beautiful diffusers. They look nice and clean. That is what the original group buy was for. This is revision 9.1 of the bodies, and if you have been keeping track of the story, that is the second latest and greatest. There's also a 9.2 revision of this body, and some people are already receiving those. The next thing that people wanted was running lights instead, DRLs. They wanted them in white rather than amber. So over here, these are the white versions. Do I have the black line there? Yeah, I do. Okay. These are going to be a little bit brighter just because they're using a different kind of LED. However, it's much the same idea. It's a basic LED unit inside a body, and at 12.6 volts, they are consuming almost twice the amperage at 0.38 amps, 0.38 amps. That is both lights combined, by the way. You know, these things are set up in parallel right now. They look so good. They're so cool. Yeah, those are gnarly. The third option, after a whole bunch of community feedback, was that people wanted sequential lights, as in LEDs that do a JDM style effect that flash from side to side. And this is what that looks like. Oh, I'm sorry, I only wired up one of the LEDs, just a sec. Do-do-do-do. There's the black. Bring me the yellow. Okay. There we go. So what's cool about these is that when the truck is blinking, you get this effect that draws the LEDs from one side to another. So that will be constantly flashing with that sequential pattern. And if you would rather have running lights, that is built into these lights. These are what are known as switchback LEDs. And yeah, they look pretty cool. Let me make sure those yellows are out of the way because they take priority. There we go. So these are customer supplied LEDs, as in they are LEDs that you pay for and then ship to my house, and then I install them in the body itself. That way I can guarantee they fit. That way I can check to make sure they are electrically sound, and then you can have a cool setup thereof. And again, it overrides with the amber. So like it'll be in the running mode, and then the ambers will come. I'm just doing that by finger, but you get the idea. So you can physically set these up as for the parking lights of the truck, and then you can set up the ambers as turn signal, or you can do the ambers as the running lights and not use the yellows at all. There's probably some other, or the amber or the whites at all. There's probably some other fun ways you can do that, but that's outside of my scope with this group buy. I forgot to read the amps up here, but you should be able to see that on the screen fine. And last but certainly not least, a lot of feedback from our community said we want to just plug these ambers right into our OEM harnesses and not worry about hardwiring. So check this out. Thanks to a buddy named Austin, we've gotten to do that. So these are OEM plugs that I have soldered on. And what these allow you to do is plug into the harness of the truck, and then also plug in to your regular turn signal lights. So you can reuse your original turn signals as load resistors to stop these things from hyperflashing. Anytime LEDs are plugged into an old car, more often than not, the relays will think the bulbs are burned out, so then it will let you know by flashing those very, very fast. I'm only going to be able to do one of these just because of the way I have all of these connectors, but you get the idea. Physically, it gets plugged in. You can plug in your OEM lights here, and then that stops hyperflashing. That also allows you to just be a little more creative with your setup, and that's really cool, right? We're super stoked to offer that to our customers. And the last thing that people asked for, and it's the one thing that I have to charge for, is a load resistor upgrade. About that hyperflashing, the people that are hardwiring their kits in, if they're using them for turn signals, you guys are gonna have to figure out a way to deal with the hyperflashing. Most of the people I have shipped to already have load resistors, or they have relays that address this. This is an EP35 relay. This one's made by Novita. It's available at AutoZone. The other auto parts stores have their own equivalents, but in general, this allows you to run relay LEDs. Sorry, this relay allows you to run LEDs in your turn signals without hyperflashing. It's the fix for that, and it's about 20 bucks when you go to the auto parts store. That's an upgrade I think you should do anyway, just because if you're upgrading your turn signals in the front to LEDs, bets on you're going to want to upgrade those in the back. And that gives you the option to do that someday. If you're not wanting to do that though, taking resistors and wiring them in parallel with your lights does the same thing as your OEM light. So you just plug them in, and shoot, I might as well try to rig this up as a complete wiring set so you can see the current. Let me just add an extra switch here. Great. All right. So the thing that you need to know about load resistor setups is that the resistor consumes power. So the marketing point of LEDs is kind of dunked on when you use this compromise. Granted, if you have no desire to do the LEDs in the back someday, the load resistor is a fine solution. But keep in mind, if you decide to do load resistors in the front of your car and in the back of your car, you're kind of hurting the performance that can be made, or energy savings that can be made with LEDs. I'm only gonna leave these on for a few seconds because resistors get hot. But now you can see the lights are on. They're actually the same brightness as they were before, just because they consume such little power. But instead of drawing 0.2 amps overall, they are now drawing 4.22 amps, several orders of magnitude more. And these resistors, they need to be mounted to a sheet metal or a metal surface because they get hot. They can get so hot that they actually melt the surrounding plastic. They can burn it too. So if you are wanting a resistor as a plug and play upgrade, well, I'm happy to provide that for you, but since I'm now destroying a complete harness set that messes up somebody else's group buy, I'm sorry, I need to charge for it. So for the resistor upgrade that you're seeing here, so I can replace the materials necessary for all the folks that want to do just the basic plug and play upgrade. This right here, this is a $15 upgrade right now. The resistors you see here are a little bit bigger. The ones that I'm buying are a little shorter and a little stubbier, and they should have the same bolt pattern, but in general, this is a $15 upgrade, and I will include the checkout option on Square for you to buy it. But those are the 5 major options that are in the group buy now. The original hard wiring amber LEDs, you get to figure out the hyperflashing yourself. The white LEDs, for the folks that want to do these as running lights, again, that's a hardwired solution. Sequential LEDs, again, those are hardwired. Just because of the complexity there, you're gonna have to figure out how to integrate them into your running lights and your turn signal lights, and you're gonna have to figure out the hyperflashing on top of that. And then if you want the plug and plays, this is the plug and play option right here. As in, you can plug it in to your truck, plug in your OEM headlights, stow them, mask them, hide them out of the way, and then these things can do a great job of being your turn signals. And even with the OEM lights, they're gonna use less power than the resistors. And this is the last upgrade. If you guys want to do load resistors instead, you can do them yourself. You just wire them in parallel, that's it. At the same time, if you want me to do them for you, let me know, pay $15 extra. I will include a link in the upgrade email, and I will make this for you, and it will ship with your plug and play package here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am Nate from Good Mayhem Racing. Thanks again for being part of the group buy. I'll see you out in the desert, if not my garage. Like and subscribe for more.